Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Noo02 and thank you for watching this video. I am going to be talking about the Cycle Frontier, you the solo player versus a squad, a duo or a trio, and how can you win? How can you win? Now the reality of it is, I would say it's pretty dang close to impossible to win a 1v2 or a 1v3. No, wait. This is not me being pessimistic or unrealistic. You probably go, I've won plenty of fights versus a duo or a trio. I've seen all the streamers do it. It's not that hard, or it's totally possible. It's not impossible. I just want to emphasize a point here. What I'm trying to exaggerate that winning a 1v2 or a 1v3 I think is technically misleading. That's the terminology that we use, but I think it's technically impossible. But it is possible to beat a duo or a trio. What do I mean? What do I mean? Because I'm trying to emphasize a point here. So I'm going to show you a graphic that I made. Beautiful, right? Direct your eyes to graphic number 1 in box number 1 here. What I mean by you can't win a 1v2 or a 1v3 is this sort of scenario here. If you have 2 or 3 enemy players, all of which can see you, the green circle here, us, the hero, if the entire enemy squad can see you all at once, you're dead. You're dead if you take that fight. You do not win that fight. Now, I'm a big picture guy. I like the big picture, I like the principle, I like laying a foundation that we can sort of build off of. So we're not going to get into the little details. What gun do I have? What armor do I have? What gun do they have? What armor do they have? Do they have blue vest, green helmet? Right? Is it long range, short range? Am I behind a tree? How many trees are there? Right? We're not going to get into those little details. Those little details matter, but it's too nuanced for me just to talk about endlessly about, oh, if you have the X amount of cover, you should do X, Y, Z. No. The big picture here, the principle is, if you take a fight where the entire enemy squad can see you, you lose most of the time. There's only going to be some rare niche scenarios where you're jacked out of your mind, super Chad, full purple, pink armor, best guns in the game, and they're running around with PDWs and no armor, right? Like, we're not going to get into those little details. Fact of the matter is, if the enemy squad can see you, and you take that fight, you lose. Which is why I like to say you don't win 1v2s or 1v3s. So then, how do you win then? What point am I trying to emphasize here? I actually have a video that I would like you to see. Again, just to emphasize this point and really go to show what I'm talking about here. A little background, right? You can see this is Hero versus Team Liquid quarterfinals, best of 3. They've each won a match. Whoever wins this match is going to the semifinals. Team Liquid is on match point. If they win this round, they win the whole match and they move on. Heroic, they're trying to tie it. If they win this round, it goes 15-15, they tie it and they go over to overtime. You're going to see how quickly, though, for Hero, it falls apart rather dramatically here. Hope the audio is okay for this. We'll turn it down just a little bit.
Yeah, Fallen flashed off, drops Somali and Stewie here with the opener. They're trying to chase Fallen down, but Stewie's got his back. It's the beginning of the end, and it's all the AWPs. Cadian, burnt out, can't find a thing.
Now, I'm not really doing a breakdown of this video here. I'm not going to analyze this video and talk about what's really dig into the... Right, we're looking at the big picture of what's happening here. We are now in this scenario where our hero down here, Refresh, is now in a 1v5. Like I said before, if winning a 1v2 and a 1v3 are impossible, so is a 1v5. If you don't watch professional Counter-Strike, let me tell you that scenarios like this actually happen all the time. Almost every single round, one player finds himself in a 1v2, 1v3, 1v4 sort of scenario. Guess how often they win those? Almost never. Almost never. These are professional video game players They know how to handle these particular situations. They have statistics where every team has a statistic where if this particular team gets one untraded kill at the beginning of the match, their win rate for that match is a percentage, 66%, 55%. It's usually always in the positives. The thing about this is these 5 players on Team Liquid who are all still alive just need to coordinate a peak together. If they all peak together, it is literally impossible for this guy to win that fight. Because if he finds himself in a scenario where all 5 players are looking at him at the same time, it's not humanly possible to win that fight. But let's see what happens here. Because, let me tell you, it gets crazy real fast.
Stewie and Fallen making it happen, making Team Liquid be that semi-finalist. Refresh, as good as he's been, as much as he's given us, this is a Team Liquid victory, teed up. He's on for a third. Nafly dead as well. Refresh, how are you making this happen? Grim, the pit hero, the guy who's dug deep throughout this entire series to save that A-bomb site, has now got to come in clutch at B. Refresh on for the ace in a 1-on-5 clutch. He's looking to keep his legacy in check. This never should have happened. It should have never been this close. Grim, his heart's racing, his heart's beating, but Refresh can't find him. It's a guessing game. Stick on the bomb. Grim doesn't swing. He thinks it's a fake. Refresh with all.
1v5 clutch. They go into overtime, and I'll just spoil it for you guys. This team that just clutched this round to tie it up, they go on to win the overtime and move on to semifinals. But what actually happened here? I'm not really breaking it down, but you may have noticed, sort of like a kung fu movie, where the challengers, right, there's 20 dudes surrounding our hero, but they all seem to attack one at a time. That's really what happened here. That's really what happened here. I'm not criticizing Team Liquid in any way, but during this 1v5, at no point was there ever more than one person who had eyes on Refresh. They couldn't figure out how to coordinate a peak together, or just the way it worked out. This guy didn't win a 1v5. He won 5 separate 1v1s. And that's what I mean. That's the point I'm trying to emphasize here, is that you don't win a 1v2 or a 1v3 in the Cycle Frontier, but you can win 2 separate 1v1s, or 3 separate 1v3, or 3 separate 1v1s. Right, so let's look at box number 2. This is how we can win, right? These brown blobs here, rectangles, this is cover. This is isolating us from our other 2 players in our 1v3 scenario. You can win 3 separate 1v1s, where we force a fight with 1 player, and then we can reset, move on to a new place, fight another player 1v1, reset, and then move on and fight the 3rd player 1v1. And that is how you win. That is, in theory, how you win versus a squad. Now, let's keep in mind, though, let's remember that we have human opponents who are thinking, coordinated, they're sweaty, they're in their Discord channel with their friends, and they're all blah, 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 talking to each other about where you are and where they are and figuring out what to do. How do they win? Well, just like our first picture here, they win when they figure out how to get both, they win when they figure out how to get multiple angles on you. If all 3 players or all 2 players have the ability to peek you at the same time, and you got 2 or 3 different people shooting at you at the same time, that's how they win. That's how they lose. So, when it comes to you, the solo hero, fighting a squad, you are actively trying to find a 1v1 and force that 1v1 to some degree so that you can potentially win it, reset, and then take a new 1v1. The enemy team, here in box 3, they are actively trying to not let that happen. They do not want to take 1v1s. Players and squads, if they find themselves in a 1v1, realistically, they should trade a couple of shots and then immediately just cower away and not take the challenge. That would be the correct way to play it. Pepper you with some shots and then just start healing. right? Because there's more people on his team. If you try to heal, somebody else who's near might hear it and push them. He can't push you because there's other people covering you, right? A squad should be actively trying to just pepper you down one by one, trade damage, right? They have 300 points of health. You have 100 points of health. They're trying to trade damage. They're trying to maneuver in a way so that more than one person can look at you at the same time, and that is how they win. But I haven't really actually talked about how you win versus a squad here. But if you may have sort of noticed a theme, it's just movement. It's movement. It's vision and movement. How do you see new places in a video game? Right? This is a dumb question. You move to a new place and you see a new thing, right? It seems a little silly, right? But movement is life. And so when it comes to winning a 1v2 or a 1v3, the only way that you're really ever going to have success in that sort of scenario is movement. And I'm not going to talk about so much about like, oh, how do you move correctly? Things like that, right? That's for a different video here, but the core principle of it all is you need to maneuver in a way so that you have cover from the other members of the team, but you can then peek a corner and engage one of the other players, and you force a 1v1. That is how you win squads. Got any questions? Would you like to see more elaboration on this particular subject? Let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. But just to emphasize the point, you don't really win a 1v2 or a 1v3, but you win 3 separate 1v1s, and you want to maneuver yourself in a way that you can force those 1v1s, just one enemy at a time, till eventually the enemy squad has been defeated. They are actively trying to not let that happen. In professional Counter-Strike, a player winning a 1v anything is incredibly rare because typically the team that has more players are professional players, and they all typically know how to peek together or play in a way that allows them to peek certain angles at the same time or trade kills and things like that. So, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Hope this helps, and I will see you in the future.